As I sit here, surrounded by the memories of a lifetime, I'm reminded of the wise words my grandmother Aurora used to say. The greatest mysteries are not those we seek, but those we uncover about the ones we thought we knew. To me, Aurora was an open book, her blue eyes sparkling like a summer sky, radiating warmth and wisdom. Her hugs could heal any pain, and were always accompanied by a gentle smile that made everything feel just a little bit better. But life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? When Aurora passed away, I thought I knew her story, the laughter, the tears, the triumphs, and the struggles. Yet it was what I didn't know that would change everything. While going through her belongings, I stumbled upon an old wooden box hidden away in her attic. It was dusty, with intricate carvings that seemed to whisper secrets to me as I lifted the lid. Inside, I found a diary. The cover was worn leather, soft to the touch, and the pages were yellowed with age. It was as if time itself had been waiting for me to find this. As I opened the diary, a shiver ran down my spine. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. There was so much more to Aurora's story than I ever imagined. The entry spoke of a life lived in the shadows, of choices made in secret, of love that defied conventions, and of a legacy hidden for safekeeping. It was both exhilarating and terrifying to think that my grandmother, the woman I admired and loved more than words can express, had lived a life so full of mystery and intrigue. Over the coming hours, I'll share with you the revelations from Aurora's hidden diary. It's a story of enduring love, of sacrifices made for the sake of family, and of secrets kept hidden across generations. You'll meet the woman behind the sparkling eyes and warm smile. And as we journey through her story, I promise you, you will be moved, you will be surprised, and you might even find yourself reflecting on the stories of your own family. The diary is more than just a collection of pages. It's a bridge to the past, a testament to the power of love and resilience. As I read through its yellowed pages here with you, I'm reminded that our ancestors' stories are the foundation upon which our present is built. And sometimes it's the secrets they kept that illuminate the path to our future. Let's begin this journey together into the depths of Grandma Aurora's hidden world, where love, loss, and sacrifice entwine in a tale that I suspect will resonate deeply within you, long after the final word fades into silence. In the late 1930s, nestled in the heart of America, lay a small, quiet town called Willow Creek. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the air was sweet with the scent of freedom and simplicity. The town was a tapestry of woven memories, where each day blended seamlessly into the next. A place where everyone knew everyone, and life's joys were found in the simplest of things. In this serene setting, a young woman named Aurora lived with her family on a modest farm. The farm was a patchwork quilt of fields, orchards, and a garden that burst with color every spring. Her parents, steadfast and hardworking, tilled the land from dawn till dusk, instilling in their children the value of hard work and the beauty of the land. Aurora's older brother, Thomas, was a dreamer, with his head in the clouds and a passion for flying that seemed almost unreachable in their rural world. Then there was Lily, her younger sister, who saw the world through the eyes of a poet, finding magic in every sunbeam and every breeze. Aurora, with her curious mind and love for reading, often found solace in the pages of worn books. She'd sit under the shade of an ancient oak, lost in worlds beyond Willow Creek, imagining a life that pulsed with excitement and adventure. Her family affectionately called her the Dreamer, and while she loved her life in Willow Creek, she couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to life than the familiar rhythms of her town. The days were dictated by nature's clock. Mornings spent helping in the fields, afternoons at school, and nights under starry skies that seemed to stretch on forever. Life was simple, yet rich in its own way. But amidst this peaceful existence, as she helped with the chores, played with her siblings, and listened to her parents' stories by the fireplace, Aurora felt an undercurrent of restlessness. It was a gentle stirring, a subtle yearning for something beyond the horizon of her small town. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but the stories she read, the stories she imagined, whispered to her of a world larger than the one she knew. A world full of mysteries, of trials and triumphs. And though she loved her family, her home, and the comforting predictability of her life in Willow Creek, Aurora couldn't help but feel an insatiable hunger for experiences, for stories that were yet to be written. In her quiet moments, she began to scribble down her thoughts, her dreams, and her reflections in a small notebook. These were not the musings of a discontented soul, but the tentative steps of a young woman on the cusp of discovering her own path. A path that would lead her through the tranquility of her youth into a future filled with its own trials and triumphs. Little did she know that the peaceful world of Willow Creek was on the cusp of change, and her life was about to mold to the sound of distant drums, beckoning her towards a destiny she could hardly imagine. As the summer of 1939 waned, the warmth of the sun on Aurora's skin began to feel like a distant memory, overshadowed by the growing unease that seeped into the tranquil life of Willow Creek. News of the war in Europe trickled in, at first like whispers on the wind, but soon grew louder, a steady drumbeat that echoed through the town's quiet streets. The radio, once a novelty that brought news of far-off lands, now broadcast warnings of a world on the brink of chaos. In Aurora's household, reactions to the war's approach varied like the seasons. Her father, Thomas, stirred by the prospect of adventure, spoke of enlisting, his eyes aglow with a fire that hadn't burned in years. Her mother, steadfast and practical, fretted over the farm, worrying how they would manage if Thomas left, and what would become of them all if the war reached their doorstep. Aurora, caught between her dreams and the dawning reality, felt her romantic notions of the world begin to fray. She started questioning the very fabric of the life she knew, the peace and security she had always taken for granted. It was during this time of swirling emotions and uncertainty that a stranger arrived in Willow Creek. Elias, a young man in a military uniform, stepped off the train one crisp autumn morning. His eyes, a deep shade of blue that seemed to hold 1,000 stories, scanned the platform as if searching for someone. Aurora, out running errands for her mother, noticed him immediately. There was something about Elias that didn't quite fit with the familiar faces of Willow Creek. Perhaps it was the way he carried himself, with an air of quiet confidence, or the way his gaze seemed to hold a hint of secrets. As their eyes met, a spark of curiosity flared to life within Aurora. It was as if the universe had brought them together in that moment, amidst the encroaching shadows of war. Elias's presence was a mystery, a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit, but Aurora couldn't help feeling drawn to him. The air seemed to vibrate with unspoken questions as Elias made his way through town, his footsteps light on the pavement. Aurora watched him from afar, her heart beating a little faster with each passing moment. She felt an inexplicable sense that Elias was not like the other boys in Willow Creek, that he carried with him a weight that set him apart. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town, Aurora couldn't shake the feeling that her life was on the cusp of change. The peaceful existence she had known was about to be shattered, and Elias, with his enigmatic past and mysterious presence, was the catalyst. Little did she know, their chance meeting would soon entwine their life in a dance of love, danger, and sacrifice, set against the backdrop of a world torn apart by war. As I walked through the sunflower field, with Elias by my side, the warm breeze gently rustling the tall stalks, I couldn't help but feel a sense of solace. The world seemed to narrow down to just the two of us, and for a fleeting moment, the war's shadow didn't loom over us. Our secret meetings had become a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos. Elias's eyes, with a depth I was still unraveling, would hold mine, and I felt my heart swell with a love I dare not speak aloud. In those stolen moments, I confided my fears and dreams to my diary, the only one who knew the truth of the feelings. My heart beating faster whenever Elias was near. I recorded every detail of our encounters, every glance, every whispered promise. The diary became my sanctuary, my confidant in a world where my love for Elias was forbidden. But as our bond grew stronger, the world outside seemed to conspire against us. Strangers began to appear in Willow Creek, their faces etched with suspicion, their eyes lingering on us with an unsettling intensity. Elias's presence, I had come to realize, was not a coincidence. He was hiding something, and I had a feeling it was connected to the war that loomed on the horizon. One evening, as we sat in the old barn, the lantern casting shadows on the walls, Elias's expression turned somber. He took a deep breath, and I saw a flicker of fear in his eyes. "Aurora, I need to tell you something," he said, his voice low and urgent. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm a German scientist, a deserter. I was sent to find an encryption device, an artifact, to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. My heart skipped a beat. I had sensed there was more to Elias's story, but I had no idea it was this. The artifact, he explained, was hidden in a secret labyrinth beneath the old church, left behind by his mentor, a clockmaker. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized the danger that had been lurking in the shadows. As we made our way to the church, the air grew thick with tension. We navigated the dark, dusty passages, the lantern casting eerie shadows on the walls. The labyrinth was a maze of ancient symbols and cobwebs, and I couldn't shake a feeling we were being watched. Elias's determination was infectious, and I found myself drawn into his mission, my fear giving way to a growing sense of courage and resourcefulness. But I was torn. My love for Elias warred with my duty to protect my family, to keep them safe from the danger that seemed to close in around us. I wrote in my diary, pouring out my fears and doubts, seeking solace in the words that flowed onto the page. The diary had become my voice, my way to process the turmoil that threatened to consume me. As we finally found the artifact, a sense of purpose washed over me. I knew that our journey was far from over. The Nazi agents were closing in, and I realized I had become an active participant in Elias's mission, whether I liked it or not. The stakes had risen considerably, and I was faced with an impossible choice: to protect the love I had found, or to safeguard my family's future. The world outside was becoming increasingly treacherous, and I knew that I had to make a decision that would change the course of my life forever. As I write these words, my hands tremble with the weight of memory, and my heart aches with the sorrow of loss. The labyrinth beneath the ancient church seemed to stretch on forever, its stone walls closing in around us like the very hands of fate. Elias and I had been searching for what felt like an eternity, our footsteps echoing off the cold stone as we navigated the twisting passages. And then suddenly, we saw it. The artifact, a small, intricately carved box that seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. But our triumph was short-lived. The sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoed through the labyrinth, growing louder with each passing moment. The Nazis had found us. Elias's eyes locked onto mine, a fierce determination burning within them. We knew we had to act quickly. I could feel my heart racing, my breath coming in short gasps, as we prepared to face our pursuers. The confrontation was chaotic, the air thick with the smell of sweat and fear. I remember the sound of gunshots, the crash of bodies against the stone floor. Elias fought with a ferocity that I'd never seen before, his movements swift and deadly. I did my part, using my knowledge of the labyrinth to help maneuver our attackers, to lead them on a wild goose chase through the winding passages. But despite our best efforts, we were vastly outnumbered. As the battle raged on, Elias was cornered, his back against the wall. I saw the fear in his eyes, the desperation, and I knew I had to act. But it was too late. With a final, desperate glance at me, Elias made the ultimate sacrifice. He handed me the artifact, his voice barely above a whisper. "Take it, Aurora. You must keep it safe. The world depends on it." I felt a searing pain in my chest, as if my heart is being ripped from my body. I took the artifact, my hands shaking as I clutched it to my chest. I turned to run, but not before I saw Elias's body slump to the ground, a look of peace on his face. The sound of gunshots grew fainter, replaced by the pounding of my own heart. I ran, the darkness of the labyrinth swallowing me whole. Tears streamed down my face, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I emerged into the cool night air, the stars above twinkling like ice. But I felt no sense of peace, no sense of relief. All I felt was the weight of Elias's sacrifice, the burden of responsibility that now rested on my shoulders. I looked down at the artifact, now a tangible connection to the love we'd shared, and the promise I'd made to carry on his legacy. In that moment, I knew that my life would never be the same. The diary that I'm writing now, these words that I'm pouring my heart and soul into, are a testament to Elias, to our love, and to the sacrifice he made for me. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a choice to be made. And I chose to carry on, to fight for a world where love and courage can overcome even the greatest of evils. My heart still aches, but I know that I'll find a way to heal, to keep moving forward. For Elias, for myself, and for the future we've yet to create. As I emerged from the labyrinth, the darkness seemed to swallow me whole, like a shroud cast over the world. The rain-soaked night air clung to my skin, chilling me to the bone. But I didn't feel the cold. I was numb. my senses dulled by the weight of what had just happened. Elias, the man I loved, the man who had changed the course of my life, was gone. His sacrifice still echoed in my mind, a haunting reminder of the burden I now carried. The walk home was a blur, my feet moving mechanically, as if driven by a force beyond my control. I couldn't shake the image of Elias's face, his eyes locked on mine, his love and trust in me. The artifact, now secure in my possession, felt heavy, a constant reminder of the promise I had made to him. As I entered my home, the familiar surroundings seemed foreign, like a facade hiding the truth. My family, oblivious to the turmoil brewing inside me, greeted me with concern, but I couldn't meet their gaze. I couldn't bear to see the worry etched on their faces. Not yet. I retreated to my room, the diary Elias had given me, my sole confidant in this desolate landscape. The words poured out of me, a cathartic release of grief and pain, as I wrote of Elias, of our love, of his sacrifice. The diary became my sanctuary, a place where I could be honest, where I could unravel the tangled threads of my emotions. I wrote of the labyrinth, of the artifact, of the secrets it held. With each stroke of the pen, I felt Elias's presence, his love, and his legacy. But life outside my room wouldn't wait. My parents asked about my absence, and I fabricated a story, a fragile web of half-truths and omissions. I couldn't bear to share the truth. Not yet. Perhaps not ever. The isolation was suffocating, yet I knew I had to carry this burden alone, at least for now. In the days that followed, I struggled to maintain a facade of normalcy. Family meals became a charade, my words and actions a carefully crafted performance. But I couldn't hide the change within me. My parents and siblings noticed the distance in my eyes, the melancholy that clung to me like a shroud. They probed gently, but I couldn't bridge the chasm between us. Not yet. One evening, driven by a nascent resolve, I found myself in the local library, surrounded by dusty tomes and flickering fluorescent lights. I began to study the artifact, poring over Elias's notes, seeking to understand the purpose behind his mission. The words on the pages came alive, a roadmap to a journey I had never imagined. My grief still lingered, but with each passing page, a determination began to take root. I would honor Elias's memory, fulfill his mission, and unravel the secrets of the artifact. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, but I took my first steps, guided by the love and legacy of the man who had changed my life forever. As I left Willow Creek behind, the familiar streets and homes fading into the distance, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was stepping into a new chapter of my life, one that was both daunting and exhilarating. The city I now called home was a labyrinth of stone and steel, its sounds and smells a cacophony that enveloped me like a shroud. I had chosen this place for its anonymity, a deliberate attempt to erase myself from the past and start anew. My small apartment, a modest affair in a nondescript building, became my sanctuary, a place where I could retreat from the world and focus on the mission that Elias had entrusted to me. Days blurred into weeks as I immersed myself in research, poring over dusty tomes and yellowed documents in libraries and archives. Elias's diary was my constant companion, its pages dog-eared and worn from countless readings. I sought out experts in cryptography and intelligence, meeting with them in hushed tones, careful not to arouse suspicion. The artifact, I began to understand, was far more than a simple encryption device. It was a key to unlocking the secrets of the enemy, a tool capable of deciphering codes and predicting strategic movements. As I studied, I transformed. The girl who had once been content with the simple pleasures of life in Willow Creek was now a driven, resourceful individual, capable of observation and discretion. I learned to navigate the city with a newfound awareness, to spot a follower, to recognize the telltale signs of surveillance. I practiced assembling and disassembling the artifact, my fingers moving with a newfound confidence. I became adept at deciphering coded messages, my mind working overtime to unravel the tangled threads of language and symbol. But with growth came solitude. My evenings were spent alone, the city outside my window a reminder of the world I had left behind. The memory of Elias haunted me, a bittersweet reminder of what I had lost and what I had gained. I felt the weight of my secret, the burden of responsibility that came with knowing too much. And yet I pressed on, fueled by a determination to honor Elias's sacrifice and to see my mission through to its conclusion. The Nazi threat was ever present, a shadow that loomed large over my life. I spotted agents lurking in the crowds, their eyes scanning the faces of passersby, searching for any sign of me or the artifact. I learned to be vigilant, to recognize the signs of danger, to move unseen. One day, as I walked through a crowded train station, I noticed a man watching me, his eyes lingering on my face before darting away. My heart quickened. I subtly altered my route, disappearing into the throng of people. The close call sent a shiver down my spine, but it also steeled my resolve. I was not just a grieving young woman. I was a guardian, a keeper of secrets, and a force to be reckoned with. As the war finally drew to a close, Aurora felt a deep sense of relief wash over her, like the gentle lapping of waves on a still pond. She had done it. She had played her part in the war effort, using the artifact to transmit crucial intelligence that had frustrated enemy plans and contributed to several strategic victories. The memories of those tense, secretive sessions in the hidden office, her fingers flying across the keyboard, the codes and messages dancing across the screen, all came flooding back. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with the knowledge that her actions had helped turn the tide of history. The quiet satisfaction of having fulfilled her mission settled within her, a warm glow that spread through her very being. She had done it for Elias, for the love they shared, and for the future they had envisioned together. The artifact, once a burden, now became a cherished symbol of their love and her past. She carefully stored it in a beautiful music box, its delicate notes filling the air as it played a soft, melancholic tune. The music box became a tangible connection to Elias, a reminder of the love and sacrifice that had defined their time together. As the world around her began to heal, Aurora sought a new beginning. She returned to Willow Creek, the tranquil setting that had been her haven before the war. But she didn't return as the same woman who had left. She had been forever changed by her experiences. She dedicated herself to community building, using her skills to support war-affected families and educate young minds. Her past was a part of her, but it no longer defined her present struggles. Years passed, and Aurora grew into the wise, loving grandmother I knew. Her eyes sparkled with a deep wisdom, her laughter warm and familiar. She embodied serenity, a sense of peace that came from living a life of purpose. I remember sitting with her in her garden, watching children play, and feeling the warmth of her presence. As I look back, I realize that Aurora's seemingly simple life was built upon extraordinary experiences and profound sacrifices. The dowry, now a treasured family heirloom, reveals the depth of her character, the complexity of her emotions, and the enduring power of love. Her story is one of resilience, of a woman who, despite being shaped by the turmoil of war, found a way to heal, to love, then to live a life of quiet purpose. And as I reflect on her legacy, I understand that the greatest mysteries are not the ones we seek, but the ones we discover about those we thought we knew. Grandma Aurora's story is a testament to the transformative power of love and sacrifice, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope, always a chance for redemption and new beginnings. As I sit here, surrounded by the familiar comforts of home, the diary lies open on my lap, its pages whispering secrets of the past. The worn leather binding seems to glow in the soft light, a testament to the countless times it's been read and reread. I'm still trying to process the journey this diary has taken me on, a journey that has redefined my understanding of Grandma Aurora, and by extension, myself. I recall the stories she used to tell me as a child, tales of brave heroes and magical creatures. At the time, I thought they were just fantasies, meant to transport me to far-off lands. But now, I realize they were metaphors for her own life, a life of extraordinary courage and sacrifice. The diary has been a map to her soul, revealing the complexities and depths of a woman I thought I knew. Aurora's legacy isn't just about the artifact or the secrets she kept. It's about the silent strength she embodied, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love she offered to everyone around her. Her life was a tapestry of joy and sorrow, woven with threads of resilience and determination. As I reflect on her journey, I'm struck by the parallels between her struggles and my own, the fears, the triumphs, the moments of doubt and courage. They're all there, etched in the pages of this diary. Reading her story has been an emotional catharsis for me. It's as if I finally found a piece of myself, a piece that had been hiding in plain sight. The diary has become a personal treasure, a guide for navigating life's twists and turns. I'm grateful for the wisdom and love that shines through every word, every sentence. Aurora's story teaches me that our lives are interconnected, that the past and present are intertwined. Her experiences continue to inspire and guide me, offering a profound understanding of what it means to live with courage and purpose. As I close this diary, I feel a sense of peace, a sense of closure. I realize that I too have a story to tell, a story that's been waiting to be uncovered. The diary's message is universal. Our hidden stories have the power to heal, to connect, and to inspire. I hope that, like Aurora, I'll find the courage to share mine, and that it will, in turn, touch the lives of those who come after me. As I look back on her life, I'm reminded that it's not the grand gestures that define us, but the small, quiet acts of love and bravery that leave an indelible mark on the world. And I know that I'll carry her legacy forward, weaving it into the fabric of my own story, as I strive to live a life that's worthy of her example. As we close the chapter on Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, we're left with a profound realization that the threads of courage, love, and resilience weave together to form the tapestry of our lives. Her story, one of unexpected discoveries and deliberate choices, teaches us that even in the midst of turmoil, there's always a way forward, illuminated by the light of love and sacrifice. If these moments from her life have resonated with you, then I believe our shared journey has fulfilled its purpose. And as you carry her story with you, remember that it continues through your own experiences, your own trials and struggles. Now, I'd like to invite you to take a moment and reflect on the power of the stories that shape us. Your support and enthusiasm mean the world to us. If you've been inspired by Grandma Aurora's story, please take a moment to leave a like, subscribe to our channel for more tales of hope and resilience, share this story with someone who might find solace in it, and most importantly, comment below. What do you think was the most pivotal moment in Grandma Aurora's journey? What secrets do you think she held dearest to her heart? Your thoughts and reflections are a vital part of this journey, and we're honored to share it with you. In closing, I offer you a final thought. Just as Grandma Aurora's diary revealed the depths of her heart, I encourage you to explore the stories within your own heart, to uncover the secrets that make you who you are, and to share them with the world. Until next time, may you walk in the light of love, courage, and the knowledge that you are never alone.